Good morning, everyone. This is Sibbe Bladh. We all have to work on our humility and become more humble. Not the least me, of course. I mostly speak to myself. And in reality, I am a very humble human being. But it can sound sometimes that I'm a bit obnoxious, a bit cocky. But when you are raised amongst dangerous people and grew up together with dangerous people in an environment where your capacity to violence gave you your social position, your ranking within the human community, it creates a certain psychology, mentality. And I guess that to say naughty words or hard words are not especially strange. It's normalized. That's a way of communicate. But of course, there's a rule. You must meet people at their level. Try to reach them at their way of being and not enforce your way of thinking on people. So that would be more humble to not use degrading, harsh words. But then again, we're realists. This is a part of human normal reality. That's swear words and that people get pissed off. So I don't see why we should completely look away from that and clean up our language to be a very superficial persona which we portray to the outer world. A fake positivity energy. But maybe that's the way. If you want to reach people, you really have to think like they think and behave like they want people to behave or whatever. So, but we're quite polished still. Mostly this jargon is humoristic, encouraging, pepping talk. It's to trim the other person, to make them sharper and stronger, to make an environment that is demanding from the individual. So you have to accomplish things. So you are forced to become better and better all the time to keep your rank. Just like nature, nothing is free. You have to work for every inch in this world. And then possibly this tough love can be usable, can be suitable for the kind of reality we live in. Realism is funny. Since I come from this background, when I listen to the specialist about narcissism and psychopathy sometime, I laugh. It's like I speak with one of my friends and they tell me funny things, about psychology, and it's like speaking with a friend. We grown up in this world, the city people. Not all, but many. It's a reality that are forced on you, and in many ways erase your true identity and shape and mold you into whatever it requires to survive in the environment. Because we're adaptable. That is the one human super strength. That we can endure anything, adapt to almost anything. Just look at these jackass movies where people throw themselves out of all kind of situations and break themselves up. Or the kung fu people who bash their bones blue for years on end and harden the body. We can do anything. The body can adapt to almost anything. So that's a superpower. Kind of unreal. And the same with our mentality. It will adapt. There's only two options. The one is to run away, and the other one is to face it. To stand within this power, within this feeling of fear or anger or whatever gonna flow through you. You make yourself able to stand within that. Firm. And you don't run away like a kid. Like when you were small and your father shouted at you. You ran away. I used to run away. I ran away and I locked my door. Because he was the only one I feared. Otherwise I was full of doing stupid things all the time. Constantly. 24/7. A real rascal. But when Dad, when he shouted my name, I know it was time to get the fuck out of there. So I just ran with all my power and locked the door. But it teaches you about limits of behavior, what is acceptable and what will happen if you cross this line of behavior. So it creates your mentality. You are pretty tough, pretty rough in your mentality, even though that you are a very gentle, soft human being with a lot of empathy and warmth and embracing most people and things. That it sounds like you think that you're something special with your nose up in the air, we say in Sweden. Because your feet stink, my grandfather used to add. Yeah. Make you think that you're something more than others, smarter than others, or better than others. While really it's just a way of expressing and talking that is inherited from the background. I don't know. The guru said that you should control your tongue. Is one of the final things you accomplish before full spiritual realization. Also other Indian chiefs and all kind of people, teachers, has told us that if you're gonna say something constructive, something positive, or shut the fuck up, or be quiet. Sorry, in normal language. Probably that's true. I don't know. The Bible tell you it's not only what goes into the mouth, it's what's come out of the mouth that you pollute, the energy. So I guess one have to be very sensitive about these things. And be polite. Try to be humble enough to say that you're sorry for all the stupid things that you have done. If the person is worth that, of course, that is. If someone was completely worthy of all the bullshit they got, you should be proud. You did your part in the natural evolution of humanity. But if you stepped out of line and behaved bad and stuff, you have to man up and stand up to that. So yeah, if anyone get offended, I'm sorry. I don't mean to offend you. It's just an expression, lingo where I come from, and I will try to ease up a little bit with this bad language. But certain subjects, you know, frog's gonna jump out to the mouth, as we say in Sweden, because it pisses you off, and you have no reason to hold back when something is extremely retarded and hold you back and fuck up nature and fuck up the future for everybody. I don't see why you should hold back. Of course, it's always better to sharpen your argument than to raise your voice. So the more explicit you can express the problem, that's better than cursing and accusing. But we're gonna need a portion of that too. So we cannot be completely lamb-like. We are wolves, remember that. We are predators, rough creatures. That's our heritage. Have always been like that, and looking like it's always going to be like that. If this is the end of humanity, if the robot age take over now and the human era ends, we could say that mankind was fighting the whole way to the end, killing and slaughtering and creating a big havoc in the world. All the way to the very end. So that's inherited in us, and we cannot. I notice among certain spiritual and other circuits that they are very sensitive to reality. They want a cocon, a safe zone where they can hide. And they call that spirituality. But in fact they are very vulnerable, very weak, very accessible for any kind of negative happening or energy that comes. They would succumb immediately. They would surrender immediately. They wouldn't have any experience to handle the real tough energies of life. And if you not can handle the tough energies, you're not going to be able to handle the really sweet energies either, because we feel it through the same channels. It's the same channel we feel fear, hate, love, ecstasy. It flows through the same nervous, because we only have a central nerve system. We're not such an advanced creature, so sometimes one unit have many functions. So this flow through the same. And some people are afraid of this. I think we're all afraid of this. because nothing can hurt like inside. Nothing can hurt like feelings. It's connected to your whole being through the central nerve system. So people fear this and create barriers and protections in their life to try to avoid this. And of course we should. But we cannot ignore it. We cannot live in fantasy land. We have to have an immune system, a protective system, spiritual, mental, physical protective system against the reality of the world. So it's about keeping testosterone high. So you're always on guard, always ready, always scanning the terrain for threat, always evaluating, doubting, questioning. That is your job. Not to become a lame, laid-back motherfucker who don't know how to deal with reality. That don't serve for no good, for no one. The least yourself. So I'm not going to change who I am, but I will try to improve my arguments. Because there obviously is a lot to say. Many things to say about this worldly project called life. Constant new topics arise. We could talk 24/7, but at a certain point speaking is also completely pointless, meaningless. Words lose meaning after a while. We can play with them for a while, repeat them for a certain amount of times, but then it will lose its actual meaning and just become a strange program in the computer, a word, a commando that just sound a certain way. It will dissolve, the meaning will dissolve eventually if we repeat too much. So we have to speak with balance. I think the psychotherapists say 45 minutes is maximum. Then the human brain, they don't receive anything anymore. It's shut down and start to think about other stuff. So everything have to be done correctly in its own time to be effective. And I guess that's why we hate people who talk too much. Keep it short, keep it informative, effective. Because that's how the human brain works. Especially now in the digital age. People's brains are fast. They switch in channels all the time inside their head. And they're used to the way they cut movies, commercial, quick moves. And also they're used to subliminal messages, discrete messages, symbolic messages. But I still find it interesting to study, humanity and the world and the history. There's still many mysteries in the world that can lit a little fire in you, an interest, an inspiration. So you keep searching, keep working for the fantastic, the magical that used to be, that can be yours. That was the purpose of your existence. We keep on working for that, striving for that. And we don't lose this hope or this feeling of expecting something great. Like it's a mystery in the air that waits to be discovered. That you will find a great treasure. That is the feeling you must have. You're not going to the darkness, you know. You're not going to non-existence, disappearance. You're heading for the ultimate. Never forget that. Never get too lost in this, so you forget that. You're heading for greatness. For excellence of the highest order. Of divine consciousness. That is the aim for all of us. Alright. Take care everybody. Bless.